Hello, it's Jenna here again, and as promised, here's my work on the Sator Square. I'm going to be doing this in a couple of parts. First part is going to be your basic translation as normal, and then the second part I'm going to tell you what I actually found. It's very cool. Anyway, those of you who are familiar with the way I do things, I have my Pythagorean, Chaldean, Gematrian, and numbers all set up in the way I do things. If you're not familiar with it, please do check out my introduction video. Okay, so anyway, since Sator Rotas is the same, I only did it once and doubled it to see what the two of them did together. Same with the Repo. Tenet, of course, is by itself, and I used also tarot because tarot here and here are referenced on one website as being the root words for tarot, like the tarot cards, and also Torah, plural. So I thought I would include it there. It's always nice to have an extra pattern to go by. So basically I did the math, and each in their own, and of course we got some matches. A Repo, who, when I looked up the translation, they're looking at it as a proper name because there is no direct translation for it. Direct name Satan comes right out of there, and you double it and you get Lucifer and death. So that's kind of interesting, considering that the Christians are using this as a prayer when they re-anagram it back out to the Heavenly Father. Okay, so which is it? Yay or nay? Alrighty, so that's your basic here. I do this every time just to check things out. If you want to know more about Sator Square, the rest of this information is all over the place. Okay, now that we've looked at the words, let's look at what happens when we translate them out into their respective numerological values. Basically, I have taken the Sator Square and ciphered it out in Pythagorean, Chaldean, Gematria, and of course numbers over here. And I'm going to use, there's all kinds of patterns that you can use to try to find it, so or whatever you might find. I used some simple ones. I used the basic cross. I didn't end up using this here, the T, but I did compare to the tarot. Let's see, so in the cross we have 25 and 37. That's what these are all adding up to in Pythagorean. Of course, that gives you 25 equals 7, 37 equals 1. This would be the opposite, so the same thing, 7 and 1, all of it coming out to 16, which reduces to a 7, and then of course reverses to a 2. Now the tarot, when you add these 3 and these 2 together, you come out with 25, which is a 7 and a 2 also. So that's kind of a nice little pattern to see if we can match up with the rest of them. Now, again, we do the same thing, only in the Chaldean numeric value. Basically, it's your cross here is 15, your cross here is 25 when added up here. 15 is a 6, 25 is a 7, that's a 6, and that's a 7 over here. It all came out to 26, and in Chaldean, it's an 8. It reverses out to a 4. Now, you do the tarot and add these together, you come out with 24, 6, and reverse 9. So, okay, not a match here. Then I do this in Gematria, and this is English Gematria for anybody that's curious on which kind I'm using. I'm English, so I use English. Well, I'm American, I use English. I use American. There we go. Alrighty, so we have our cross coming out to 23, coming out to 17. 5 for the 23, 8, and then around the corner comes out 26. which is an 8, and the opposite is, and then reverse is 3 in gematria. Now you take the 23, which is the 72527 adds up to 23, which is a 5, reverses out to 3. So now we have another match in the reverses. Finally, I did the same with numbers, and the same kind of results. Basically, the cross and the tarot equal each other, as should be expected considering this is the longhand version of Pythagorean. So you've got 3 of them that have sort of a pattern that are bringing up matches, and 1 that doesn't. Okay, so this one right here, this is the one in question. This is the one I want to find out what is different about Chaldean. Let's see. Well, what do I know about Chaldean? Chaldean is older than Pythagoras. Chaldean is a mystic sect of people that lived in Asia Minor, Turkey, Syria, Babylon, that area. But they weren't actually a race of people. They were more of a class, like a priest class, sorcerers, astronomers, astrologers, mathematicians, and there's a few other things that they were probably involved in, but not too much is known about them. All I know is that the first Sator Square supposedly, or the oldest Sator Square supposedly found, was when Pompeii blew in 79 AD. So that means that thing's way older than Christianity. Christianity wasn't even in Rome at the time, but the Chaldeans were, and so was Pythagoras. So let's go with this. What do I know about Chaldean? Chaldean works on vibrations. They do all of their readings of numbers through sound vibrations. That means, I think I've covered this before in love. If you say love, you spell love, you don't actually say the E at the end of love. So it's like you're saying L-O-V. The Chaldeans would only count the L-O-V. They also have a tendency to separate the soft vowel from the sharper consonant. With that said, on to part 2.